Alright, here's the next part of part 3 of the 76 Johnson power trim rebuild. And I've made some progress here. I did most of it off camera, obviously. I was able to get that ball bearing out of there. And there's the spring. And I just took a utility knife and I cut the plastic that was kind of peened over, holding the ball bearing back. And then the ball bearing came out and it's still in good condition. So we'll see if that part is still reusable. It's going to have to hold the oil. So, and then I got the rams apart. Now here we go. This is the tilt and trim ram, the tilt ram, and it just, I got lucky. I was just able to unscrew it with my hands, and it just turned right out of there. So, you know, you don't get that lucky that often. I don't know if it's supposed to be that loose, but it is what it is. Now the trim ram, that one, I got that one apart too. And I kept filling it with solvent, and I got all that black grit out of the inside of it just by rinsing it through that opening. I mean, there isn't much space right there, but I'm not going to try to take that apart. I mean, you can if you want when you're doing this job. But, I mean, it's corroded. Not really a replaceable part. It's obsolete. But if I break that part, then I'm going to be really out of luck. Now, I did use I got the loop off the end. And there's probably a better way to do it than this. So I wouldn't recommend what I did. I used a pipe tubing clamp for a flaring set, so I could turn the ram, and I reasoned that would not damage the ram, but it did put some very small, fine indentations into it, and I polished it back up with some 1000 grit sandpaper, and I mean, you could feel them with your fingernail, but they don't go all the way around, and they're not the long way, so, I mean, is that going to be hard on the O-rings? Probably. But it's not really that noticeable. And since they run around the tube, they don't even go all the way around. I'm reasoning it's probably not going to leak because they're so small. Now, if it went the other way, if they were going up and down, which is what I was trying to avoid doing, see, then it would leak for sure. And it would probably get worse and worse. As far as this goes, this isn't the best way to do it. So, now, this is the first time I've ever done it. And if I ever do it again, I won't do that. You know, you learn stuff as you go. So, I mean, none of this is rehearsed. I'm just doing it as I'm doing it right now. Now, there's one rubber line on this whole system. And it goes to the top side of the tilt ram, which is the one nearest the oil pump. And that hose is in really sorry shape. So I'm going to take this to a few local hydraulic shops and see if they can replace this. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's a standard fitting. It's got an O-ring in the end of it. I've never even seen one like that. And it has like a stiffener, a square stiffener that slides down into the... Well, let's go get the parts. So it went into this hole right here on the side, and you can see that's kind of shaped to receive an O-ring. And this is what went around the cylinder. So that slipped down over the cylinder, and then this piece of aluminum that's threaded with that same thread went inside of here. And so that's what it pulls against to tighten that O-ring together. So I'm going to probably have to take that with to the shop and see if they can match that fitting, or if they can just somehow reuse the fitting that's on the rubber hose. Because, yeah, that ends up going together like this. So that here goes through there, and then it threads into the square part. So then it pushes that O-ring seal together on the side of the cylinder wall. But it wasn't leaking, but I'm afraid that hose is just going to burst. And that is seeing better days. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to replace the O-rings and the seals and the wipers and everything, and I'm going to start reassembling. And I'm going to clean out the inside of the cylinders, the cylinder tubes, get all the nastiness out of them. One's pretty clean, the other one's pretty dirty. And I will post the next update. And when I get that hose replaced, I should be able to fill it back up with oil and reassemble it all. And we should be back in business. So stay tuned for clip 3 of part 3. This is Rory. Have a good day.